Hi, my name is Kyle Yates. You don't remember me, but we used to podcast together. Something bad was going to happen, and the only way to stop it was to make everyone forget about me. Because I'm not just Kyle Yates, I'm half of the Neon Crew podcast. And sometimes, the Neon Crew podcast co-host has to do the hard thing, even if it breaks Kyle Yates' heart.
Spider-Man.
Hey. Spider-Man. He's swinging in. He's webbing all over the place.
Yeah.
Very kind of allegorical for puberty. The loneliness you feel during puberty. Do you feel lonely during puberty?
I can't go that far back.
No. Not. Is your brain like a DVR?
Yeah.
Like as soon as something new is introduced, it just deletes the old stuff?
It happened.
It happens that way. What's the furthest back you can remember? Like, what's your first memory?
I don't know.
You don't know? I think I know like some of my first ones.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you if it was definitively my first ones, but I remember I was at my grandpa's house. A lot of my very early memories are at my grandpa's house.
Okay.
And there were a bunch of relatives around, and they were all kind of laughing and giggling, specifically at how shy I was. And I think from that moment, it kind of defined a character trait of mine that has just persisted throughout all of my life. You know, not as shy as I used to be when I was literally 3 years old, but, you know, it's there. The quality is there still, especially with people I'm not familiar with.
Sure, the introvertedness comes in.
Yeah. You really don't have, like, an early memory like that from, like, toddler age?
Not really.
No?
Now, if I start talking to my brother or something, like usually I need like an association to trigger some like a memory.
Is that association usually another person?
The earliest one I have, I think my parents were renting an apartment out in Detroit, and we got these like wrestlers or kind of like wrestling dolls type deal. Mm-hmm. You know, they're like little, they look like dwarves or miniature people.
Yeah.
Whatever's politically correct. And, me and my brother were kind of like wrestling around with my dad. Like we were like hitting each other with it, running around in the living room. Like so I was probably about 3.
Okay.
But outside of that, no, most of my stuff is usually just like kind of clicks when we talk about something.
Yeah.
So I don't know how far back I could go, but that might be the earliest.
That's a pretty wholesome recollection compared to mine. Speaks a lot about our own personalities and who we are as people. You recall something that's like, yeah, fun time with the boys, wrestling, having a good old time. And then there's me being like, I'm shy, please don't talk to me.
I remember sitting in the corner, not making eye contact with anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that meme with the guy standing in the corner in the party going, they don't know I'm 3 years old.
Yeah.
If only they knew.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 125 of the Neon Crew podcast. My name is Kyle.
I'm Mac.
And we got some movies to discuss.
Yes.
Figured we'd just kind of jump right into it, or should I say, swing right into it.
There you go.
Da-na-na-na-na. That's more of a Batman thing, right?
Yeah, that's the 60s Batman.
Yeah.
And when they cut scene.
What's the Spider-Man? Spider-Man does whatever
A spider can.
Spider crawls.
Yeah.
We're of course going to be discussing Spider-Man Brand New Day. We teed it up in the last episode, and we're talking about it this episode.
That's how you do it.
That's
Take notes.
You do it. Speaking of taking notes, I completely fucking forgot that I have to introduce this movie.
Ooh.
Luckily, I have the tab pulled open, so
that's why I just go straight to IMDb when we get in here.
IMDb. I'm a wiki Letterboxd boy.
Yeah,
through and through.
There's a wrong answer to this.
Wrong. It's just like Blockbuster and Family Video all over again. Callbacks. Anyway, speaking of callbacks, Spider-Man Brand New Day, calling back to a lot of earlier movies, earlier instances with this specific character played by Tom Holland. This is the 38th film in the MCU. So that means Doomsday is going to be 39, and if Secret Wars is after that, that'll be the 40th movie.
I don't know if Secret Wars will be they got to have something down the pipe.
I'm sure they've got something in between that has just not been announced.
You do that. Let me see if I can find because don't they do like a chart?
Like the timeline where they have like all the movie titles and like a
and
lineup.
they kind of show you like, hey, this is what to expect.
They did that recently, and I don't remember much of what happened at that conference outside of the X-Men announcement. I don't know if you saw anything about that. The new cast of the X-Men being announced.
That. I think I saw them all standing together and was like, I recognize one person here.
Yeah. I'm a freak, so I recognized maybe like 4 or 5 of them.
Okay.
But maybe that's something we can get into after the discussion, because that announcement kind of ties into this movie a little bit.
Yeah.
So this is Spider-Man Brand New Day. This is the 4th Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. And it takes place 4 years after the events of No Way Home, when everybody forgets who Peter Parker is because of the spell he had Doctor Strange cast to solve the issue of that previous film. And so we're kind of opening up with Peter on his own, being Spider-Man, kind of, hitting the grind, doing what he can to be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, when all of a sudden he's dealing with multiple different things at once, as is Spider-Man's usual struggle. One of those struggles being figuring out who this mysterious villain is who can telepathically control other people and speak through them. And they're trying to get into Spider-Man's mind, but Spider-Man's the only person they can't penetrate. And so Spider-Man is also dealing with changes in his kind of physiology, his spider arachnid parts of him and his DNA are all of a sudden going haywire. He's getting organic webs. His eyes are going all black and scary looking, and is starting to lose control to what he thinks is the monster inside of him. So we're going to be exploring that and a lot more with Spider-Man Brand New Day. So spoiler alerts for that. I say that before I introduce some of the characters, because one of them was a big secret. And I'm just going to kind of go through the list in my head. So you've got obviously Tom Holland as Spider-Man, Peter Parker, John Bernthal as the Punisher.
Yeah.
First John Bernthal debut as the Punisher in a feature film.
Yes.
We've got Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner.
Yep.
Sadie Sink playing mystery character that nobody on the internet guessed at all was going to be Jean Grey.
Boom, boom.
Just kidding. Everybody and their fucking mother guessed it.
It's so funny about that.
Uh-huh.
Avoid all spoilers with this, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a meme out there where it's like, it's Sadie Sink looking with her Stranger Things friends. It's like that look you give your friends when you know you're the next Jean Grey.
Mm-hmm. I saw that meme.
Saw like a million times, right? I'm so stupid. I thought it was Elle, Millie Bobby Brown, because she would be in there, right?
Yeah.
And I was always like, oh, okay. Like there's a new X-Men movie coming out. That good for her, because she's in everything now. Or they're trying to get her to be the next big thing.
You're probably thinking it took them this long to get her in the MCU. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and then Sadie Sink popped up, and I went, oh. That's who they were talking about.
Oh, the redheaded person that's in this in this
Jean
shot
Grey's going to
smirking.
be in this movie, So
Jean Grey's in this movie. Sadie Sink's in this movie. You've got Zendaya and Jacob Batalon returning as MJ and Ned Leeds, respectively. You've got our boy from Severance. What's his name? Can't remember his name right now. He plays... Trammell Tillman. I knew it started with a T.
Is that the damage control guy?
That's the damage control guy. He plays Bill.
I liked his character.
Something.
Yeah,
it was kind of interesting. We can talk about it.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so this movie kind of had a lot of things going on in the marketing, to the point where nobody could really, for the longest time, pin down what an exact plot of this was going to be. Just like a general feel of this is going to be slightly different from what we've seen from Tom Holland's Spider-Man before, where before it seemed like he was dealing with like kind of really big, sort of out of his bounds types of struggles as Spider-Man, being involved in the Avengers and Civil War and all that. Whereas this one seemed like it was going to put forth the promise of, he's going to be street level Spider-Man. He's just going to be sticking to New York and dealing with little guy shit, small potato stuff, as referred to by Florence Pugh in this movie as Black Widow. She's also in it for a bit.
Yeah.
But what you were gonna say something?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
We're good.
Never mind. I thought you were gonna bring something up. And so going into this, I was like, okay, I'm ready for the ride of what this is going to offer me, but I'm still like not clued in as to what the plot of this is going to entail.
Yes.
And I sat back in my seat, kicked my feet up, leaned back, looked at my Spider-Man themed Vans, which I should have worn for this record, honestly. Even though you guys couldn't see it, Matt could still get the spirit of what I'm going for.
Yes.
And I just kind of sat back, relaxed, and was like, I'm ready for Spider-Man to take me on a ride. And on a ride, I was taken. Mm-hmm. I had a decent amount of fun with this.
Yeah.
I saw this twice. I saw this right around the weekend that it came out. Megan's brother wanted to go see it, so we went and saw it with him and his girlfriend, like opening weekend-ish. And that was a very fun time, good crowd, no shitheads, only people that love Spider-Man. Which is pretty much everybody on the fucking planet.
You could still have shitheads in a movie theater.
That's true. You could still have Spider-Man fan shitheads. People are gonna people. That should be a shirt. People are gonna people. And it's just a dickhead in a movie theater seat on the front. But no, I saw this again with Megan like 3 days ago, I think, over this past weekend. Yeah. And I don't think this is a perfect film. I think that there are things about it that I have some notes on. But the overall experience was a lot of fun, and I was just kind of generally surprised at how solidly I think this was put together compared to a lot of Marvel's latest output.
Yes.
But we can kind of jump over to your thoughts on it, your experience with Brand New Day.
So wanted to take my son to it, missed that boat, and then obviously, hey, let's do it. Let's watch this movie. I want to see it. And so I caught it kind of like a late night showing. It was 8:10.
Okay.
It got moved up from 10:10.
Yeah.
So I sat in a movie theater. My wife bought me my online ticket. Said I thought she said I was the only one in the theater. She said, you're the only one. And then I kind of just went like, oh, sick, by myself. And not to anything about that. Love you, Jasmine.
Hey, sometimes it's fine to just kind of like stretch your arms out.
I like going to the movies by myself.
I like going by myself too.
Right? Like where you can just sit down, and as long as it's kind of like everyone's spaced out, well, that wasn't the case. No, it wasn't packed. It was just like everyone kind of conglomerated in the middle where she bought my ticket at. And then I went... Anyways, I started thinking, I was like, would I buy this ticket here? I was like, well, I'd have to see what was available. Maybe I would. If I thought I was by myself, I definitely would. But if I knew there was going to be people around, everyone goes to the middle. So...
That's almost a good kind of like spousal test of if I give my spouse the ability to choose my seats,
yep.
Where are they going to choose for me? And is it going to be like close to what I would pick?
Now, granted, I didn't see it and it was completely fine, but it was like one of those things, everyone's in there and I just thought like this whole movie theater is kind of empty. There's 20 of us in here and yet we're all within arm's length to each other.
Yeah.
It's like, why do people do this? So, I had no idea what was going to happen though in this thing. There was a lot of theories online, a lot of rumors. It's been out late enough to where it could have got spoiled for me, but somehow just didn't happen. So this thing was an easy pill to swallow. It felt like they kind of, I don't want to say dumbed it down, but brought it to more of a wholesome level, where it wasn't the stakes are so damn high. There were some things going on, and even what was happening was more impacting the city and potentially around the world, but not in the sense where it's like Thanos coming in, right? Or the world's ending. I mean, it really felt very true to just keep them within New York. And it felt like the city itself was a little bit more of a character in this thing than... I've never thought of Spider-Man like the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, right? Being just in New York, never going anywhere. Like it's always just like, oh, that's Gotham City, and it's the whole universe, And then this one actually really made it feel more of like we're in New York, we're gonna move around New York, we're talking about New York, and it's you get the streets and the cars and the people. So that was nice. So Yeah, let's get into it.
Kind of hearkening back to Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies in that those are like almost very quintessential New York movies.
Yeah.
You get like a good sense of like kind of the culture and the people and like the sense of, oh, there's so much to this place, even though it's like so compact into this one little thing. Kind of like your experience in the movie theater. So compact, but very universal.
A little New York right there.
A little, your own little New York. Hey, give me a pizza. You say to the theater worker.
Yeah.
As they just
ignore you.
Yeah, they just like do not hear what you said at all.
No, they don't care. They're making $12 an hour.
Yeah, but you know what? They get to see free movies, so
yeah.
Not too horrible. Anyway. So I liked that it was more just like kind of reminiscent of that feeling, especially after the other Tom Holland Spider-Man movies seemed to be kind of like out of the bounds, just a little bit of New York. No Way Home, you got it a decent amount. With Homecoming, because the character was still so entrenched in like his high school life,
yes,
I feel like you didn't really get like a great sense of New York as an environment.
It was like the outskirts of New York and kind of
Queens,
in the city.
Yeah, just like sort of like outskirts suburbia with like the backdrop of New York City. And then of course Far From Home, he's not in New York City really much at all. He's over in fucking Europe on a field trip. So
didn't they go on a field trip in Homecoming? Didn't they go to DC? Isn't that the Washington Monument that he climbs?
I think they did. Yeah, so even in that movie they're fucking traveling around all over the place.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that this feels like, oh, we're starting with like fully formed Spider-Man with this being grounded in New York, but also you have a good sense of like the lived in nature of the world now.
Yes.
With the idea of both the Punisher and Bruce Banner just kind of existing in this environment in their own little peculiar ways, and we can talk about that a little bit more. But I think that there was like a decent balance struck there, because people were watching this trailer going, the Hulk's in it, the Punisher's in it, and this is supposed to be like ground level Spider-Man again. Like what? How are those things gonna mix? Like it feels like water and oil almost, like the two kind of like opposing ideas,
right?
And I don't know. I thought it was implemented pretty well for the most part.
Yeah, no, I thought they did a good job. I mean, we got the everything's now member berries popping up, and how do we get more cash or bring more intrigue into this stuff? And I thought it was well balanced. I don't think that there was anything. I thought it played a little bit to like red herrings to what we're seeing. But them being a part of it did make it a good movie. I guess I don't know really how to describe it outside of it. Didn't feel overdone or rote.
No. I think there's a good temptation, especially when you have the MCU with like so many established characters at this point in storylines and things that everybody else is doing at the same time, that you could just like overstuff the shit out of this thing. Yeah,
and and honestly too, they were the Punisher and the Hulk and this are living their lives. Like Banner's found out a way to keep him suppressed, right? And the Punisher, we get to see him kind of stepping in to save the day, right? Being the hero that he is, and then we
save the day, maybe almost fuck up the whole day.
He really like at the beginning when he's in the car, Frank, get out of here, and they first introduce him on the car ride.
I'm trying to think now if there's any instance in this movie where the Punisher does something effective.
Not
or
really.
Like doesn't fuck it up in some way.
It's a little wholesome towards the end. There's a little like it's enough to make you smile, give a wry smirk.
His biggest contribution in a positive way in this film might be him pretending to be Spider-Man at the end, so that Peter Parker can leave the hospital.
Yeah. Outside of that, it was just kind of like he's in it, and he almost feels like he's a goof.
He's a total goof,
right? But it's the Punisher. Like that's where I kind of feel bad for Bernthal in this, where it's like, I don't know. You're supposed to if you watch it. I haven't seen the show, but I'm sure if you watch the show,
I have seen the show. The only thing of the Punisher's, John Bernthal's Punisher, I haven't seen is the like hour-long special he has on Disney Plus called like Punisher One Last Kill. And it is funny to me, and this was kind of my Letterboxd review the last time I watched it, where you're seeing John Bernthal's Punisher kind of pal it up with Tom Holland's Spider-Man and be like, he's just kind of, he's being like a like a grimy little goofball.
He's
and
a
then
meathead.
He's a bit of a meathead, but there's some kind of like rugged charm to him. And then you watch the Punisher show, and it's like, oh, this dude is like decapitated people before.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
it's fucking weird.
That's why I was like, it feels like they neutered him in this thing, and then
I mean, they kind of had to, I guess, but yeah, it was almost like unavoidable if you're going to include the Punisher.
That's why it was like, to me, not necessarily a miss, because like you said, he's got a rugged charm to him. It's Bernthal. He's, he does a good job of making you care for him, even though, and I was just like, this guy's more of a badass than what we're getting.
Right. And I think, honestly, it might be the right kind of call, even if it is like a little bit disproportionate to how the character is in the other like TVMA rated shows.
Right.
I think that his chemistry with Tom Holland is really what kind of sells me on it. Mm-hmm. And the fact that these guys are such buddies in real life, I think only helps.
Oh, they are?
I don't know if they met on the set of this movie where Bernthal played a mute farmhand, and Tom Holland had to like help him around. I forget what the name of it is. I think it's called like Pilgrimage or something.
Interesting.
It's like a period piece, kind of flew under the radar. Nobody really watched it. Type of movie.
Jack, is that the name of it?
Yeah, right. Yeah, he played Ben Stiller. And Tom Holland was the horse. So they met on the set of that movie. They became really close, and they helped each other audition for their own respective Marvel parts.
Oh.
Like, when you go and see the audition tapes for Bernthal as Punisher or Holland as Spider-Man, the other one is holding the camera.
Oh.
And, like, kind of helping them, like, try and get... And it was Bernthal's suggestion that Tom Holland do a flip in his audition.
Oh, really?
And it's, you can speculate a lot.
Right.
You can maybe kind of come to the conclusion that that's what helped him get the part.
Yeah.
So they have a very kind of like specific bond that I think is only coming out this year because, they're in two huge movies together. They share a lot of screen time in each film.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They were in the Odyssey together, too.
Yeah, Menelaus, as Troy liked to pronounce it. So I think that despite the fact that there is some dissonance there, I think that their on-screen chemistry really kind of makes it work for me.
Couldn't agree more. I'm not knocking the point. Bernthal didn't do anything wrong with this. I'm saying it's more of like the writing and just how he gets portrayed.
Like the nature of like, oh, we got to make a Spider-Man movie that kids can go see.
Yeah, but honestly though, that's kind of cool. I dig more the friendships on camera because like the Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman thing, Deadpool, Wolverine, like give me more of that because for some reason
the movie almost doesn't work without it. Yeah,
yeah, and it just feels like it elevates it because their chemistry so well. Like even when they're playing the characters, they're still almost like I know what gets under you. Like you know what I'm saying? Like they know how to ping pong off each other. They can read it even when they're in character. It feels like
and I think that is kind of applied to a lot of the different other character interactions in this movie.
Yes,
him and MJ specifically, maybe some of my like favorite emotional scenes in this movie. I thought that
totally believable.
A lot of that stuff was really working.
Yep.
And I mean, these people are married together in real life. So just like further hammering that point I was making earlier of like, hey, if these people like love each other in real life, then more than likely it's going to translate. And I think absolutely does.
Yeah.
I think that this is, in terms of Tom Holland playing Spider-Man, my favorite performance from him as the character.
For sure. But this is the most depth I think he's had or that's been given to him.
And the most kind of like introspective we've seen from him outside of maybe No Way Home. But No Way Home is more of like dealing with direct grief than it is kind of like looking inwards.
Yeah, not to spoil anything, but are we talking about like past a certain point in No Way Home?
Yeah.
Like probably towards like the third act.
Like the third act turning point.
Yeah.
Which I mean,
it tugs a little bit, but this one, but that's an easy one. Something happens, right? So it's A then B. You get the action reaction. Whereas this one is more so of him dealing with the separation of his identity and trying to figure out who where do I stand?
It's not terribly dissimilar to what Thunderbolts was sort of doing.
Oh, this whole new Marvel thing, I think that they're totally trying to do some more allegories with like mental health and that being the true battle than it is with like we've got the alien and quadrant 4 that's going to destroy the universe.
And I should not be surprised if when we do see Doomsday that is also going to be front and center.
Yeah.
In terms of the characters.
I don't have an issue with it. I think my bigger issue is that we're hitting these climaxes and it's almost like a confrontation with mental health than it is with the movie itself. Now, they write it in really well, but it's like almost you get such a big build up to this point and then it's a conversation to end it.
And you have to ask yourself, like, how effective can that be for a blockbuster film that is kind of like hinging on like the idea of like final set pieces and like expectations from the audience. I myself didn't have an issue with that as an idea. My issue more or less was just kind of with Jean Grey as a character.
Yeah.
And sort of how she was implemented compared to the first half and the second half of this movie. And, you know, I guess we can just talk about it now. Probably my biggest grievance with this film is how she's implemented. Because when we're introduced to this idea of like this mystery villain that can possess different people, make them do different things, and there's like a very dark kind of evil cadence to the way they talk to Spider-Man.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like this establishing this idea that like does this person have like personal beef
That's what
with
I thought.
Spider-Man and
Yeah.
Peter Parker and like what's going on with him? And is this like a villain that we've been introduced before in a new form? Is this like Mysterio? Like, it'd make more sense if it was Mysterio. He's got personal beef with him.
Yep.
And you learn that it's Jean Grey, and you learn kind of like her backstory with her sister, and her sister gets kidnapped, and she's trying to figure out where to find her. She's like going on this kind of like rampage, this crusade in order to get to her. And it's like, okay, I am at the point in this movie where I'm supposed to start sympathizing with a character that a half hour ago I saw throw an old man into traffic.
Yeah. Taken out
For,
by a
like,
taxi cab.
For no reason other than like aura farming kind of.
Yeah.
Like there's such a dissonance there that just takes me out of it and was really hard for me to reconcile with the second time I watched it.
Even now that you're talking about it, I'm like, I don't even know why she had a beef with Spider-Man. There's really nothing that he's doing that she should be attacking him.
It really makes no sense.
Yeah.
Because you take the scene where they're first introduced, and
maybe that's why this. Okay, yeah, keep going. Because there's been something sitting with me where I'm like, I don't know why I don't enjoy this more, because there's a lot of good stuff in here.
There's something in the back of your brain that's just like crawling over.
There was an empty
like,
space somewhere, and I'm like, I thought it was just the climax, but now that you're talking, I'm like, oh no, this is making more sense. Because I didn't like her character in this. I didn't really get it. Not to say that she was. No, I'm not gonna cut you up. It wasn't like she was bad, right? I mean, it's just like. Just feels kind of misplaced.
It's very kind of misplaced. I think this movie went through a lot of different rewrites, and they weren't entirely even sure if they were going to go for Jean Grey's character specifically. They just knew they wanted like a telepathic element that Spider-Man had to deal with like an antagonistic force.
I thought it was more of like we're introducing X-Men now. Like that's how I saw it.
Kinda.
Like we gotta, because they've done that with some movies. Like we're gonna introduce the villain, and then we're kicking off their franchise next, and this is our exposition instead of having like we're just putting them all together.
Yeah,
we're rounding up the troops.
This movie, it's almost kind of like, at least from what I've read, a sort of miracle that it turned out the way it did, despite the fact that like it had so much messiness going on into it.
Yeah,
but. It gets to the point where, like, okay, I'm supposed to sympathize with this character. Doesn't really earn it, in my opinion. And you get the scene where she's driving the tank through the old lady. Yeah. And it's like, we don't know it's Jean Grey yet. This could just be some fuckhead who's, like, fucking with Spider-Man personally.
Right.
And the further it goes along, the more and more personal the beef gets between them.
Yes.
For like no reason other than Jean Grey herself escalating the situation, kind of going outside of what her own mission is to fuck with Peter Parker. For, I guess, like the reason of being like throwing him off of her or something.
I don't know. Because I honestly, like, I'm trying to think. Now, the only reason she may have done it is because he was stopping her from getting to damage control.
And I guess maybe she knows he was at damage control, so she's like trying to get him to figure out like what VMAX is the whole time. VMAX being this like code word that Florence Pugh gives him in the bath scene.
Yeah, possibly. That's That's about the only thing, because he's like, this is the 4th attack on damage control, and then that's when he meets the director, but he wasn't like necessarily staked into damage control. You know, like it wasn't like he was already there. I mean, he after the 4th attack is when he was like, I'm gonna go meet this guy, figure out what's going on because I got the intel that this is why it's happening.
Yeah.
So maybe she just, I don't know, maybe knows that he's trying to protect this place, and that's where she's working on getting him off the scent.
Okay, so keeping all that in mind, and then you get to the scene that's kind of coming up to the 3rd act, or like I think maybe during the 3rd act, where you just see security footage of her walking up in a hoodie, like taking out the guards, and then just kind of like strolling in, because she's got the Hulk. Like trying to, you know, under her control, like trying to break the door down. And she probably would have done it too if, you know, Spider-Man hadn't showed up. But it's like, you almost think to yourself, oh, I guess she needed to get to Spider-Man so she could get to the Hulk. And it's like, no, he's like a public figure. She can just go fucking find him anyway. Like, she didn't need Spider-Man for that at all. So I don't know. That whole like kind of forced antagonistic connection gets very confused.
The suppressor already, did she already know about that, or did she figure that out once she was in there? Because that'd be the only other thing.
I think she probably just
No, she found. Well, you've seen it twice. I can't, because she broke into his apartment and then she's like, "What's this?" Maybe, but I don't know.
No, because I don't think if he had the suppressor at that point, I think he might have had it on him or something, right? And then
here's the point with all this. This is how messy it is, and we're trying to come up with points.
The Jean Grey stuff, especially, is super messy, like, and it kind of falls apart when you look into it further.
Like, now that we're talking about it, like it's very much of like, don't know why, because you're right. She totally had it's almost like a vendetta. Like this very much felt like, hey, like, I wonder who this is, and I don't know any of the Spider-Man
She's like
villains.
the J. Jonah Jameson in this universe, where she's like, fuck Spider-Man. I hate Spider-Man.
For no reason.
For like no real reason. Like uses psychologically damaging tactics on him.
Yes.
To get him to kiss MJ.
Believe that she remembered. Like how much destroyed would you be?
Which is like, okay, this is like... And he even says it in the movie too, when he says to her, if you truly loved someone, you wouldn't do this to someone else.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that's a good fucking point. She wouldn't do that to someone else. And it's like later in the movie, we're supposed to believe that there's some semblance of like a sympathetic character there, with like the loss of her sister and like kind of how lonely she is and like dealing with her own stuff on her own. And it's like, okay, I get the attempt, and I think Sadie Sink is even doing like a good enough job of performing the character that way that like kind of sells me on it a little bit later in the movie. But it's like how we get there is such a fucking messy climb.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, it's such a glaring kind of thing on this movie that keeps me from like truly thinking it's great. But
it's fair.
I mean, you know, like I said, there's so many other different things happening in this movie that I think it gets absolutely right. I think that as far as like the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies themselves, this is my favorite in terms of the way it looks and the way it's filmed.
Yes.
So this film, I didn't even mention this yet, but I will now, is directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, who directed Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings.
Really?
Which is, in terms of action, probably my favorite Marvel movie. Because it actually has a lot of like really cool martial arts grounded stuff.
Yes.
Grounded for Marvel's own standard.
Well, it's not CGI people flying around.
Not until the last,
some practical effects. Yeah.
Not until the last third of the movie.
Right. But they got some like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon stuff going on, right?
Which is a lot of fun. And I'm like, that's actually a pretty decent pull for the character of Spider-Man, because this is a character that's supposed to be like super acrobatic. We're supposed to like kind of marvel at his movements. Yeah. You know, I think it's emulating a lot too of like the feeling you get when you play the Spider-Man video game, where you're just like swinging through the city.
Dude,
like,
that's exactly how I felt. Like me watching this, I was like, I wish Preston would have came with me, because I was like, this is like the most I felt like, this is the video game I played.
Preston would have had so much fun with this.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's made $2 billion, so it'll still be in theaters for like 2 months.
Well, he's probably already seen it, so.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
They got
skipping out on dad. Ditch this loser.
Well, and the theater. Let's watch it on the couch. I won't get into that, but yeah.
How would he watch it if it's not on streaming yet?
We'll talk about it offline.
Okay. Yo ho ho.
Yeah.
But yeah, he would have absolutely enjoyed this, and like I think it's since the Tobey movie. I mean, I have yet to see the Andrew Garfield movies, but like since the Tobey movies, have I not seen like a live action Spider-Man movie emulate the movements of Spider-Man in a way that feels satisfying and fun to watch. You know, it's sometimes, you know, we'll break into first person view of like him jumping from building to building. We see like kind of dynamic camera movements with like the swings, and like him going through like the different street environments is just really cool stuff.
Oh yeah, and then there's like the first time he jumps down, and it's like you can hear the wind flapping, and it's just super quiet, and it's like, hey, we're just gonna give you like how this works with him doing this, right? And then he swings through, and like you just hear, like you see the dust go, you know, and it's like it just feels so much like a real thing happening, as opposed to like when Toby was doing it. It looked good, but it never felt lived in, you know.
Tobey's Spider-Man movies, especially the second one, had very decent kind of like action blocking. Like what was happening in camera looked really good and like made a lot of sense in terms of like an action scene.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, it's like, oh, we're gonna like kind of take you through the movements of Spider-Man in a way that feels satisfying.
Yes.
That we didn't really get with the other Tom Holland movies. That's one of my bigger complaints with those films, is that those movies do not really kind of get you in the feel of like Spider-Man. No Way Home kind of got close to it with like some of the camera stuff, with him getting like the spider sense when something's wrong in the apartment. Like,
a little bit. I mean, I think those ones really focus more on just the kid element and the growth of him kind of getting of age.
Yeah.
And it's more so of looking at it from, hey, like we're going to take this scrawny high schooler, you know, and a kid that actually looks like he's in high school, and kind of put him through this identity crisis that he's facing and him struggling with all that. Whereas this one feels more of like, hey, you know, bring your, you know, son to work day.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're going to see what I do.
Bring your son to work day.
Yeah, or daughter, you know. And like it just felt more of it's a character, but it feels more of a grounded or a real person, as opposed to jumping from rooftop to rooftop. Hey, I'm a superhero, you know. Or is this one kind of, there's, I don't want to say believability to it, but like some of the shit he's going through, and then they talk about like the metamorphosis about to happen and the DNA struggle, and him kind of like not ready for that change to happen, and it really feels as he's going through a struggle.
Kind of weirdly emulating a lot of the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man stuff when he like starts getting his powers. It's very kind of analogous to experiencing some form of puberty or like body change as you get older. And it's very kind of fascinating decision to do that for the fourth film in this series.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was decently implemented. Didn't feel like the most kind of important focus of the movie when you know, a lot of the other stuff was happening. Felt more kind of just like the focus was on like his emotional state, or like his relationship with MJ, and like the longing for them to remember him and who he is. And the sort of like spider changing stuff feels pretty important when it's first introduced, and then as the movie goes on, it's like, oh, this is just kind of like blending into everything else.
I mean, I would say it's more analogous to hey, you know, you have the identity of Peter Parker, you have the identity of Spider-Man, and there's always been the struggle, right, between both. Like, how do I separate who I am from what I do? And I think this one, they lean more into like a figurative change that's going on of like, if you were to really Spider-Man, you're going to become a spider. You know, like I think they lean more into that as opposed to having you see the battle and the struggle, right? Like that's at least what I pull from it, is that, you know, if this is your identity, your true identity, I think that's why towards the end of it, you kind of see him embrace that Peter Parker has his strengths and his weaknesses, and that, but he is a person and a human.
Yeah, you're seeing like him reconciling with the fact that I don't have to pretend that Peter Parker doesn't exist, even if everybody else doesn't think he does.
Yeah, and that's why he can now he merges both, right? He finds it's the balance that he needs, you know, and I think that's probably what it was going for, or at least that's what I'd assume. So like, when those changes are happening, you're seeing his loneliness, his depression starting to take over more, his loss of identity starting to take over more, and that's where the struggle's at. And I think, you know, if you're going through a suppressor or how Banner handled it, it would almost be an analogy for drugs and, you know, taking pills and all that stuff. Of like,
yeah, very kind of like straightforwardly, like representative of like someone relapsing or like backsliding, and like being a destructive force because of like this monster that you're dealing with. Or
or I mean, like even people that are going through depression or anxiety or something that's maybe more surface level than, you know, addiction, but like,
right. I guess I was thinking of the Hulk specifically.
I would say it's more so for, hey, like I'm struggling with, you know, my reality right now. Like what can help me out? Oh, here's some Xanax, you know, and I'm going to take that. And now all of a sudden I'm back to balance. It helps out with some of the, you know, maybe it's providing dopamine or whatever Xanax does or whatever pills people take. But, you know, like I think that's what that was representative of, and him going to Banner and going, how do you deal with it, you know? And oh, here you go, I just take these pills, you know? And it's like, oh, okay, that's an easy way out.
Yeah. Speaking of Banner, how did you feel about the Spider-Man Hulk stuff in this movie?
I could use a little bit more.
I feel the exact same way. When I was a kid, and I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but the Hulk was my favorite superhero growing up.
Yeah.
And my cousin Austin, his favorite superhero was Spider-Man.
Oh, so.
And we would often, like, you know, as kids are wont to do, imaginative play. You're Spider-Man, I'm the Hulk, and we are in a battle against each other. And it's like, oh, this is like kind of delivering on like the childhood promise of seeing these two duke it out on screen. You know, there's also like many different comic iterations of the Hulk and Spider-Man fighting each other. Mm-hmm. This is going to be really cool to see. And while I think it was cool, I could have used like maybe like at least 5 more minutes of it.
Yes.
Just to really kind of like signify like, oh, this is the part of the movie that's coming up. You think about a movie like Age of Ultron, probably like so far at least the weakest Avengers movie in the series. Is that fair to say?
In terms of action.
But there's one, if I told you that there was one scene that I always go back and rewatch in that movie, what would you guess it is? Hulkbuster. Exactly. Yeah. Like, that is a scene that perfectly kind of encapsulates that feeling that I was hoping to relive in this movie between Spidey and Hulk, that it's like 75% there.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite hit it enough for me. I would have liked to see a little bit more with that.
I agree. I was in the same boat. I mean, it was kind of like he gets the concrete on him and there's some stuff, you know, and it's like, damn, like right now, can't we just do like get him on top of the roof or something? You know, I love the cat and mouse game going on. It's always like the, you know, what wins, strength or agility. Mm-hmm. You know, you can out finesse someone if I get my hands on you and all that stuff. And I don't know. And then I just had kind of a hard time too with the whole, hey, we've eliminated all these memories, and then yet he can still somehow get them to remember.
Yeah,
it feels like such a cop out.
There's a bit of like a resonance to the idea of, we're gonna get to the core of like people's hearts and emotions by trying to make them remember who Peter Parker is, just through like basic kind of like emotional beats in this movie. And you really get it at the end of the film, which
really get it at the end.
Which, you know, I'm not like opposed to it. I actually was like kind of a fan of that specific instance, but
the Hulk scene, I was just peeved with that one. Like, give me something else as opposed to being that.
Which, where I thought that they kind of like displayed some restraint was the MJ resolution and how that plays out.
Love that.
With her finding the letter that he's written and becoming distraught over the idea that they used to be something significant, and despite the fact that, you know, she's now seen his face, she knows who he is, she's been told through this thing that they've had a history together, still doesn't have that memory.
Well, and I appreciated that, and that reminded me a lot of Guardians of the Galaxy in that sense.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
And I really liked I really like the idea that it's like, oh, I guess if the stars are, the lover stars or whatever they call it, if they're meant to be, we'll see it play out again. And it felt very much like I was felt very bad for Peter. I was like, his loneliness is hitting an all-time low when she's like, I just don't see you that way. And then she's like, I need to ride home. And then they get there, and she's like, all right, see you later. And he's like, yep. And he's about ready to go. And then she's like, hey, you want to come up? And I was like, yes. Like, for whatever's telling her, hey, maybe I'll have him come up here.
Would you want them to get back together, either through like her getting her memory back or like them like reestablishing a relationship even though her memory's been wiped?
I mean, it to me it's like one of those things, right? Like, because what I liked in the Far From Home,
No Way Home.
No Way Home. No Way Home.
You got there. It only took every other title, but you got
have fucking home and everything.
That really
Brand New Home.
If anything hurts that trilogy of movies, it's the fucking subtitles.
Oh my god! But what I liked in that is that MJ and all these timelines, because they're like, hey, like we're looking at alternate universes, right, or alternate timelines. MJ's always a part of it, so it's almost like they're destined to be together. Mm-hmm. So, if they do something with that, I would really love that if they had those, like in the next one, if that's how it goes, figure it out, but kind of see the courting again, Because I did appreciate when it gets up there and all of a sudden they're all three hanging out, and it's like, oh, you could tell that he knows them well enough and they're comfortable enough with him that it's a natural relationship, right?
I was gonna say, like, it kind of speaks to this idea of like predestination with relationships between these characters in these movies, is like, even despite the fact that you do not remember me at all, there is still something there that tells us like there's something there.
Well, and I love that Ned's got this spider tracker going, like he's infatuated with Spider-Man regardless, and
it's a good visual gag that he's like, I've narrowed it down to two people, and it's the fucking teacher and Flash Thompson. I thought that was good. I quite like the scene at the end when he goes up to Ned and they do the handshake.
Yeah, I do too. I guess what I'm just saying though is like we keep skirting the rules here. Like that's the only thing I don't like about these things where it's like
Marvel schmarvel rules.
Hey,
schmools.
Doctor Strange can do whatever he wants. He's an all-time being. Fuck it. They'll remember each other. Like the curse doesn't work that well. It's like, come on. Like I know that we got some things going on here, but can't we just let's keep it genuine? Like, so instead of doing that, they do that and then being like, oh, Peter? It's like, hey, man, you want to go get a sub? Like, let's have them, like, go back to, like, we're going to learn how to be friends again.
So what's interesting to me is that the second time I saw this, I was thinking in the back of my head, does Ned find out that his name is Peter before they see each other again at the end of the movie? Or is this, like, a total recollection? Like, is there no ambiguity to him remembering him at all? And then there's the scene where Spider-Man leaves the apartment and MJ's like, Peter, be careful. And then Ned is like, Spider-Man's name is Peter?
Yeah.
And so the scene at the end, when he looks at him and he says, Peter, is he saying, Peter, oh, I remember you now. You've been my friend this whole time. Or is he saying, Peter, you're Spider-Man?
Right.
But he still doesn't remember.
It's a good pull.
Totally who he is.
I like it that way much more, leaving it ambiguity than... And you're right. She does say that because I was like...
There you go. Burger King style movie. Have it your way.
Yeah. Well, oh my God. I am so loud in this thing.
That's okay. I'll turn you down.
No, but I do like that. And I remember when Zendaya says it when he flies out to go to the damage control. Because I was like, oh, this is how they, Ned gets involved. But obviously she didn't do enough. He maybe pieced it together. Maybe he remembered.
Yeah, maybe. He's got that Spider-Man tracker too.
Yeah.
Was there anything else that we wanted to discuss? I feel
you didn't like the damage control guy. Like that's the one I'm still.
No, it's not that I didn't like him. It's just that he to me felt very similar to a lot of MCU style like guys in suit villains, where it's like that didn't leave too much of a mark in terms of memorability for me. Honestly, like to me, the more memorable Spider-Man villains, aside from the ones that we see in No Way Home, because there are a lot of ones we've seen before, are the Vulture and Mysterio. Like these are guys that to me, like
I don't know.
they've got something going on to them that like there's a stickiness there that stays with
they're
me.
both villains in suits.
I mean, maybe it's as simple as that, but
Like,
I'm not even saying like he did a bad job. I think Trammell Tillman did really well in the role that he was given. It's just the role he was given to me didn't really have much going on with it.
I think it's always hard when we start talking about the team that's working to be Big Brother, because the whole idea with Damage Control, it looks like, is that they're going to get rid of mutants. Like that's kind of the feel of it, because they are getting the technology for the. Now they didn't know what VMAX was, but they want to use to be able to get in everyone's head. Right, they're going to weaponize the telepathy from Jean Grey. Right, is that kind of what they're looking at? So I think it's always difficult when you're playing just a normal person taking advantage of someone else. But then once again, if we go back to the mental illness and working with, it's how are we abusing people smarter than ourselves and using their powers for our gain as opposed to letting them be who they are.
Yeah.
Right.
The scene with the hand. Is that the best action scene in this movie?
The scene with the hand.
When he's fighting the ninjas in the prison? Or in the like kind of
fun. Yeah, I thought it
was pretty good. That to me was the most like, oh, this is kind of like the most Shang-Chi-esque action that this movie has. And I don't know, I liked it. You kind of got a sense of it from the trailer, because I feel like they showed that specific scene a lot in the promotional material. But
so funny, because I was like, there's so many red herrings, like the Scorpion. Like it was like, is he going to be in this thing quite a bit? Is there going to be like,
we haven't even brought him up yet.
I'm trying to think of there. Like, so I thought those ninjas were like red herrings, and then Damage Control guy Trammell Tillman's like, yeah, no, they're part of us now, and I completely forgot like that. By the end, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like it feels to me like the marketing on this thing, while leading us astray, like did a good job of leaving it mysterious.
Yeah.
To the point where everyone was very curious, because like you go in and see this thing and it's a good movie, but I don't know if it's like $2 billion good.
I mean, apparently, according to the world, it is $2 billion good.
But I think it was enough of a driving force with how many people that they could get into that thing, because it's PG-13, and they made it more grounded, or at least in the sense of it being in New York, a little bit more, hey, this is probably what it would look like if Spider-Man existed. And then there's a lot of questioning on what is going to happen. So like, I would almost say anyone that's a Spider-Man fan would probably go and see this a second time, just so that they wouldn't be guessing and would pick up on the other things. So it's almost like if 1 million people see it and 900,000 are Spider-Man fans, those 900,000 are going back a second time to watch this thing, so they can watch it from the sense of like, now that I know what's going on, let's see how well this plays out.
Yeah. Let me kind of take a step back and see the whole picture.
Yes.
The whole brand new day.
The whole brand new day.
The whole brand new day.
Yeah.
Shall we get into ratings?
Yeah.
For Spider-Man, brand new day.
I go first, right?
You do.
I was talking to Sam about this, ran into him, and I just told him, I said, dude, this is a little bit more wholesome, a little bit more grounded, and the relationship, like, the characters in this are rich, and there's a little bit more going on where you feel like Peter Parker's a person as opposed to being a superhero. Action sequences are pretty fun. Like the chemistry that him and Bernthal had were pretty good. Like you meant, like the sound mixing in this was really good. The camera work was good. This is pretty clean, but it's not like too clean.
I liked the needle drops. Not often I like a lot of like Marvel needle drops outside of James Gunn's movies, but
like that needle drop.
Well, like when they have licensed music.
Oh yeah. There was a couple good like the party scenes,
The party scene, the opening song, "Wolf Like Me."
Yes,
that was really good.
Yeah, they had it was a good soundtrack. Yeah.
I think they kind of cribbed a little bit from Spider-Verse movies, where they're like, we need like a banging soundtrack if we want people
that makes sense. Now that you say that, I'm like, yeah, okay, like that plays. Yeah, and like it's an easy story to follow. You know, I think the only rub that I have is Jean Grey kind of forcing her into this thing. It felt very much of like this is her launching pad, and I don't necessarily like that, especially with a movie that's pretty good on its own. I don't know.
Right, you take that element out of it, and it's like, oh, you've got like a really solid solo Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, and honestly, the whole we're gonna talk about some of this mental health stuff, what it's like to have depression, loneliness. Like it felt very much like hey, like if you're thinking about suicide, like remember people care about you type deal. Which once again, kind of ballsy that Marvel's going in that direction. I'm surprised. Are people calling this movie woke?
Not as much as the Odyssey, but
that's really okay because there's there's people in the Odyssey, so you can see them, and even if you don't know what's going on, you're like, oh, look at that person. Whereas this one, I'm like, this is way more woke than the Odyssey. I think maybe
in terms of the themes, yeah, for sure,
like 100%. Dude.
People just look at the Odyssey casting and they're like, you've got a trans person, woke.
Yeah,
you got a black person playing Helen, woke.
Yeah.
It's like, can you shut the fuck up?
That's what I'm saying. Like this one, I'm like, literally at the end, Aunt May's looking at the camera going, you are special.
Right.
Don't let anything happen to you. You're your own person. And then Spider-Man, and then it comes out and he's sitting there and he's like, I'll support you in anything that you need help with. And I'm like,
yeah.
Wow, that's a good message. It's just and I'm fine with Marvel doing it.
You have an actual woke movie, and the fucking chuds online that were complaining about the Odyssey are like, I love you, Spider-Man.
That's what I thought. I was like, I walked. I know I'm doing my like, hey, I'm gonna give a rating here, but I was just like, this is one of the things that I literally walked out of this movie going like, that was really good. I really enjoyed that. I love Tom Holland feeling like he's a person instead of just being Spider-Man was great. And I was like, this mental health stuff and because we've seen it now in I think 3 different films, I want to say.
In the MCU?
Yeah. Well, I know for sure
Thunderbolts.
Yep.
This one. And then kind of, would you say Guardians 3?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Dealing with friendship, dealing with kind of the
well, like past trauma and abuse.
Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. Right. And so anyways, but then I started thinking, I was like, I don't know if I've heard anyone bitch about this thing. I was like, I'm kind of shocked because I think mental health is like woke now, but I don't really know what gets considered woke outside of people just being racist. So I don't know, or being soft, I guess.
I'm gonna spoiler alert, Mac. That's mostly what people mean when they bring up that something's woke.
Okay, is
that they themselves are racist?
Yeah. So, but I kind of walked out. I was like, oh, whatever. But anyways, this is an 8 out of 10 for me. Solid 8 out of 10. I think this is a good fine film. This is like when you talk about just a comic book movie. Mm-hmm. This fits right in. I think this is probably better than some of the other most Marvel movies in terms of being true to the source material.
I would say so. This would be higher on my MCU ranking.
Yeah, and So anyways, that's where I'm at.
Okay, I think we're kind of swinging in on the same Spidey rope here, the same organic web. You and I, we're connected. There's the thread there.
Yeah,
that we can climb together. So. Jesus, I don't know what the fuck happened there. I just became
choked up.
I became Uncle Ben there for a moment. Jesus, Peter, I am dying. How was your wrestling game? Anyway, so I had a very good time with this both times that I saw it, and like you said, you were hitting a lot of the same points that I was making with the Jean Grey character and how I was willing to get on board with her implementation into the movie in the later half of it if the stuff that preceded it made a little bit more sense and wasn't nearly as clunky. Mm-hmm. I enjoy the inclusion of a lot of the kind of other side characters that exist in this universe with the Punisher and Bruce Banner, Peter Parker. Not only just having a sense of growth and maturity as a character, but also giving this movie kind of a sense of growth and maturity, not just in terms of the themes that it's touching on, but expanding the scope of the film into this sort of street level, greater sense of having a New York identity type of movie that the other ones didn't have before. I was very much behind, and I think it's just people love Spider-Man. This movie made $2 billion very quickly. I wouldn't be surprised if it reaches like around like 2.3, 2.4 if that's where
it might
it kind
get
of like
$3 billion.
I mean,
I guess 2.4 is $2.4 billion. That's
which
probably
would truly be
closer,
insane. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's only 2 weeks out though.
2 weeks out, brand new day. You know, with each brand new day, the movie makes more and more money. I'm right with you. This is a solid 8 out of 10.
Nice.
Kind of closer to a 7 with like some of the more glaring issues that I have with this and the kind of clunky nature of it. But
Yeah.
I think this is a very kind of like solid, fun Spider-Man time.
You know, and at least how I feel, because I'm with you on the Jean Grey stuff, but if it could stand alone without that, I don't think that was enough of a distraction for me to bring it down. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like it doesn't necessarily fit, but they weren't hedging their bet on that working.
Doesn't ruin the whole meal for you.
Right. If the Zendaya, Tom Holland stuff didn't click or whatever, you know, them trying to figure out, you know, this is my previous life. How do I get kind of back to that, you know? If that didn't work, I'd probably have more of a rub against this. Mm-hmm. But yeah, awesome.
Sweet.
Cool.
Speaking of cool, you know what's cool?
Speaking of super cool.
Getting a show at the Rivoli.
Yes.
And I know a couple guys from Toronto who have made it their life's mission by way, whatever they need to do, whatever they need to say, they're going to get a fucking show at the Rivoli.
Yes.
I'm, of course, talking about your recommendation of Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. Max, take it away.
Let's go. All right. So as Kyle said, Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, came out in 2025, 2026, 2025?
2025.
Really?
Yeah, I saw it last year.
It just got onto streaming.
It did. I think a lot of that had to do with... Oh, you know what? I think it was earlier this year that I saw it in theaters, like February.
Yeah.
Because it did the thing where it's like, oh, movie festival 2025, and then...
Okay, yep, don't need that argument. So, this is a movie that was directed by Matt Johnson, written by Matt Johnson and 7 other friends.
Wikipedia has Matt Johnson and Jay McCarroll.
So I'm guessing that they're crediting some of the show, web series stuff of people that have assisted.
The story by credits are to, you know, their cameramen and like their production associates.
Okay.
And
yeah.
A lot, just the people that were like on site. I read in the production that if there was anywhere between like 6 to 8 people working on the movie at a given time. Yeah. Which, you know, quite small for a...
Oh yeah, the credits are insane. They have like one slide.
Yeah. it's like a Tommy Wiseau film.
Yeah.
Like one guy did everything.
So anyways, Jay McCarroll, Matt Johnson, I think they both wrote it as you're talking about, right? Starring Matt Johnson, Jay McCarroll, and that's all we're going to do.
Pretty much, yeah.
It is somewhat based on, there's a web series, as Kyle has talked about, and a show called Nirvana, the show. Nirvana, the band, the show.
Nirvana, the band, the show.
Okay. And essentially what it is it kind of starts out, and it was interesting too. So it's a little context.
I was going to say, I'm curious how you came across this and like decided to recommend it.
Well, I know Matt Johnson, and we've seen some of his films. I think you've actually seen more than me. But Blackberry kind of was, I was like, Blackberry is just a very fun film. I think Blackberry is like really good.
Blackberry's great.
Yeah, Blackberry, yeah. And, so I was really excited to see what he was going to come out with this one. And the poster's kind of odd, right? It's the two guys. It's one of the scenes actually, but they're on the top of the CNN tower, and there's 2 guys. It looks like they're falling off the tower, and I think there may have been something where it was hinted at or talked about time travel, right?
Is this the poster you're talking about?
No.
Okay.
Nope. There's another one where I think they use it for the movie poster.
Because the only other one that I have is this one, where it's like them just standing there against a white background.
So on IMDb, maybe it was like movie festival time, because they didn't have any they didn't have like an official release or distribution group.
Yeah.
They took a still from the parachuting scene off the tower, but you can't see in the picture that they're parachuting. So it looks like 2 guys falling off the tower, or some guy getting pushed, right? And it's like, what is he up to this time? We got time travel. We got this. And So kind of a little reference with the web series and the show. And so the movie kicks off, and it is them at a very young age, 2008, talking about getting a show at the Rivoli. You know, Matt Johnson is just spewing ideas. I got Jay McCarroll in there. He's on the piano. They're going to figure out, hey, this is how we're opening up. This is what we're doing, you know, and like you just see the frenetic craziness of his ideas and just like these really shit ass ploys to try to like capture an audience, right? Which it's also funny though, like you see it and you're like, that's where he gets his creativity from, because he just doesn't give a shit, you know? And very young age, right? And they're going to start hanging flyers around. They're trying to get, they're saying, listen, we're not asking to play at the Rivoli. We're just going to play at the Rivoli, right? Like I think they said like, you're coming tonight, you know, they hung up flyers. And then it smash cuts to 2025 and they're doing the exact same thing. And he comes in, it's another crazy ass idea. There you go. We're going to climb up on the seventh inning skydive, skydove, skydived. We're gonna skydove. So
skydove the sky dome.
Yeah, skydove the sky dome. And you know, we're gonna jump off the CNN tower and we're going to land in the ball game and tell everyone we're playing at the Rivoli. It's just fucking insane. And obviously, hijinks pursue. They get done.
Ensue and pursue.
Yeah. And they get back, and Jay McCarroll's all of a sudden having like, wow, I've wasted the last 20 years of my life. You know, just kind of having that like, existential moment. And so Matt Johnson says, listen, we're going to make a fake time machine. We'll go back. Well, if you can guess, they make a time machine. They go back in time, and then it's really just them trying to get back to present day and figure out what they... Yeah, I don't even know. Like, it was just get back, right? Like, it wasn't like we're getting back to play the Rivoli.
So I can maybe try to explain it as we go along. Spoiler alerts for Nirvana the band.
Yeah, we're at that point where I think that's kind of the first 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah. So the goal, I think, of the characters, I watched this yesterday.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can try to pin it down.
Okay.
So the goal of the characters is they want to get a show at the Rivoli. Overall arcing goal, and not only this movie, but the entire show.
Yeah.
And their plan, after the skydiving thing fails, is Matt Johnson is going to pretend that they are from the future.
That's it.
And convince the Rivoli that in order to stop a bad apocalyptic future from happening, they need to play a show there.
That's what... Okay. And
so he in order to create an authenticness to it, he creates this whack-ass gizmo in his RV.
So also, we'll say too, and maybe we'll be able to touch on this a little bit. They're essentially like just taking the plot of Back to the Future.
They're taking the plot of Back to the Future, and they're taking a lot of like the kind of iconography of that and the ideas from that and applying it to this scheme so that they can play a show one night at this kind of mid-tier restaurant that they're obsessed with.
Yeah, it's not even like it's that big of a deal. It's just like people show up and maybe 40 people go in.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's fucking great. So he sets that up. Meanwhile, Jay is wanting to kind of branch out on his own. This is sort of also like an overarching struggle between the characters in the show, is that oftentimes Jay gets so annoyed with Matt that he wants to like go do his own thing, but he also is kind of a bumbling idiot, so he doesn't know how to go about it on his own. And he's booked a show in Vancouver, I think.
Yes. Yeah,
which is like from...
Or Ottawa.
I think it was Ottawa. Which is like a 4-hour, 5-hour drive from where they're at. So he takes the RV, not knowing that Matt's inside, that's set up like the time travel shit. And then, turns out that the time travel shit actually works.
Yes.
They get sent back to 2008. It takes them a fucking while to realize it. They're like, shit, how do we go back? How do we go back to 2025? And they figure out that it's the Orbitz drink that they spilled that activates because it's lightning in a bottle
for
the
ingredients.
It's the ingredient. And so
you can't put lightning in a no, but it's a catchphrase. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So they go back to 2025, but before that they get into an argument. And he changes something on the whiteboard in their 2008 apartment. And so when they go back, Jay is super famous.
Yep.
And Matt is like still in like his kind of scheming mode.
Yes.
And you see kind of the how that unfolds. And they, from then on they try to get back to
that's like the third act, like right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the third act. Because at that point, Matt is wanting to go back to 2008. Jay's wanting to go back to 2 days ago so he can stop himself from shooting a guy in the head. So
yeah,
that's
maybe I spilled some wine on my pants.
That's my if I spilled wine on my pants, or if I maybe killed a guy. Okay, so yeah. Now that we've gotten the story details out of the way, we can just kind of talk about this movie
you gave
wholesale.
the whole movie.
It gave the whole movie. I said spoiler alert.
Yeah.
I just wanted to explain it to see if I could actually remember the details of it.
No, that's what happened. There's going to be a couple things that are kind of like if I was doing something else. So I will be totally transparent with all you guys. It's been a long week with football going on.
I can't wait to hear you explain this.
It's been a long... Dude. It's been a long week with football going on. I've had this lined up where I've been really excited to go down in the basement, throw it on, do a little football stuff, and still be able to watch this thing and give like 90, like undivided attention best I can to it. Sunday, my AC went out, so it's been kind of hell. I had to see Spider-Man on Saturday. Had a couple soda pops on Friday. We had a scrimmage Saturday morning. It's been breaking down tape. And Sunday was going to be the day, right? Sunday was like, it's it. Sunday turned out to be the worst day in the house. It was 82 degrees in the house, and both my kids would not sleep. Like, my son didn't fall asleep till 11, and I had to hold both of them in my arms to get them to sleep. So by the time I still had to do football stuff. So by the time I got started on that, it was midnight, kind of completely forgot, watch it Monday. Monday comes around, Monday morning, gonna watch it, totally forgot. Wake up today just ready, like, hey, we got the pod tonight, right? Didn't even think about the second movie.
You're like, hell yeah, I've done all I need to do. Pat your hands. My work is done.
And, go to take a shit, hop on Facebook real quick, and boom, right there. It's my face on Matt Johnson's body. And it says Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie.
It actually says, if you look at the poster.
Oh, did it?
I can show you. It says Neon Crew, the podcast, the show.
Ah, that's it. That's
the movie.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you.
And
spent way too long on that stupid fucking thing.
Well, but
I'm glad I did, because
as soon as I saw my face, I went, "Oh fuck." I got to watch this movie. And I'm like, thank God I said I wanted to watch it because it was on Hulu. And I have Hulu on my phone. So I was like, well, while we work, we're going to have this on. And
I can't believe I saved you from being the first one out of the two of us to have forgotten to see the movie before the record.
Like, totally.
That's crazy.
It's insane to me, too, because I've literally the last 4 days been like, all right, watching that. Like, we were texting. And I was like, dude, I can't. It's a treat that I'm going to be able to watch this at night.
Should we make a bet as to who?
It'll be me.
You think it'll be you? Because there's been a few times where it's almost been me, I feel like. Not from forgetting, but just like not like giving myself the proper time management to watch something.
We're going to be hitting dog days here where it's going to be work. Like, it's going to be just as it was. And then Saturdays are family days. So if we do a movie theater movie, Saturday's going to be the day I watch that. And that's typically at night, so I can't come home and watch something. So then it's, am I lucky enough that I don't have enough shit going on the next night to throw on something with my undivided attention?
Yeah.
This is like the first, like, this just highlighted, like, all right, like, we're just going to be on top of it now, and we better make sure. But I, like, didn't even, dude, I didn't even remember this. Like, when I saw that, I was like, oh my God. Like,
did you remember that it was that specific movie that we were talking about?
As like, when you look at something, you're like, oh shit. Like, Peter Parker did it out of my brain.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just the most bizarre thing because I've been, and like I said, like, we were texting Saturday and I was like, nah, if I got time, I don't know if I will, but I'm, and I was like, so anyways, long story short, we watched it.
Mac, do you know what happened to make me post that?
No.
Today? So we actually did record the podcast without you having seen the movie, and it created an apocalyptic nightmare.
Yeah.
We actually managed to get the ball rolling so that COVID-20 could happen, and it wiped out so much of the population. Had to make a time machine so that we could go back,
Yes.
and that I could remind myself, my past self,
Yeah.
hey, make this stupid ass Photoshop with Mac's own face on Matt Johnson's body. Post it to both Instagram and Facebook. If you only do one, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And then we will save the future. And thank God, the future version of the both of us like came to me and said that, because I would have been right there with you. I would totally fucking forgot that we were doing this today. And fucking, it's crazy.
Yeah, we're trying to get a live show at Stan's, so we're gonna hang flyers out here in a minute.
Yeah, I like that Stan's is the equivalent of the Rivoli in this movie.
It kind of like it's like a know nothing bar. Like
I've never actually been
to the Rivoli or to Stan's.
I mean, either.
Okay, I was like, well, no, it's not. Anyways, I would say it'd be like doing like an Applebee's like that.
Really?
I think that would be. I don't know what the Rivoli like, dude. They just show the sign and it's kind of like the.
Stan's is like equivalent to Applebee's.
The Rivoli is equivalent to Applebee's.
Ooh.
Stan's is a bar.
Yeah. That's why I was confused.
Yeah, I don't know what I'd equate the Stan's to outside of in this timeline.
The Rivoli.
Yeah.
But anyway, Thank God we saved it. We did it. You watched this.
Yes.
And I'm excited to talk about this. So, my experience with Matt Johnson is, I think the first thing I saw from him was Blackberry, but then not long after I saw Blackberry, because I've been kind of aware of Matt Johnson for a while. He was actually a guest on this movie podcast I listened to called Sardonicast. He was a guest like really early on in that show, like years and years ago. And this was when I think they had finished their second season of Nirvana, the band, the show. And he is very kind of like encyclopedic with his knowledge of movies, and like specifically this type of thing that has to do a lot with like improvisation and like playing off of real events and like interacting with the public and stuff like that. He's a very big fan of Orson Welles, and specifically there's like a Pinky and the Brain dynamic that he really latches onto and applies to his stuff. And so I was like,
that makes sense.
Okay, so like watching Blackberry, I'm like, oh, this is the guy that I'm kind of familiar with, the like Canadian filmmaker. And I was aware of The Dirties. I was aware of Operation Avalanche. Saw The Dirties. Love The Dirties. I think The Dirties might still be my favorite thing he's done. And I watched. I didn't watch Operation Avalanche. I haven't seen that one yet. But then I knew that this movie was coming out, and I'm like, oh, people love this. And people were also saying, oh, even if you haven't seen the show, you can go and watch this movie and you'll have a good time. And I saw this in theaters and I quite enjoyed it, but I couldn't help but think I probably would like to see this after I've seen the rest of the show. And then, cut to half a year later where we're kind of currently at, and they put the whole show and the movie on Hulu. And you recommended the movie like right at the perfect time, pretty much, because I was like, oh, this gives me like a great excuse to watch the show.
Yeah.
And I watched the show. I watched season 1, rewatched season 1 with Megan because I figured she would enjoy it. And then we saw season 2 together. The show's pretty fucking fantastic.
Is it?
I think it's worth watching. It's 20-minute episodes, 8 episodes per season. And you can pretty much like, there's season 2 has more of like a through line from episode to episode. There's like more of a connectivity there, especially towards the end. Season 1's really good about, you can just kind of jump in at any point and like get what it's going for individually. It's really fucking good.
Yeah.
Like I think it might be one of the better comedy shows I've seen.
Yeah.
That I've been newly introduced to, and I had so much fun with it. And this movie does a good job of just continuing / emulating what the show was going for.
Yeah.
And the second viewing, especially after seeing the show, was very rewarding. And I'm glad I did it.
Nice.
I'm glad I did it. I'm glad you recommended this.
Absolutely.
Because I really enjoy kind of stuff of this nature, like Nathan Fielder type, hidden camera, sort of like interacting with the public and like building a narrative off of that, like seeing where those types of wacky shenanigans can go. And it just like it hit something for me that was like resonating in a way that's like, this is fucking great. This is funny.
Yeah. And then if you guys listening, if you feel Kyle's passion with this and agree with a lot of what he likes, you'll like this.
There you go.
Yeah.
How did you feel about it?
The movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good. I mean, the movie's good. We're back on the movie.
You had me worried there. I was like kind of on the back of my heels, like, oh no, Mac's gonna hit me with I thought this was fucking bullshit.
I was laughing. I was enjoying it. Like you said, I'm not always the biggest fan with the amateurism kind of mixed in with the narrative through line, but like if it's well done, it really gives it more of an authentic feel. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of like some of the things that they're doing, I wasn't really sure if it was like, hey, we're just gonna film this random guy talking to him, and like when he's in the store getting the clippers to cut the cable. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I think that guy's probably just a regular worker.
Hey man, I'm a libertarian. You do what you want.
That's what threw me off. I'm like, do people just go out and say this?
It's insane the things that they managed to capture.
Yeah,
and it's so funny how like. Because he's talked about it before on interviews and podcasts I've listened to him. And one thing that I've always kind of taken away from the things he said is that when you are like, if there wasn't a camera there or like a goal that I had in interacting with these people, I wouldn't have nearly as much confidence in dealing with the situation the way I do if those things weren't present. But because there's the camera, because there's this idea of a goal that they're meeting, it gives them the propulsion and the confidence to just kind of like go through, oh, if I need to go into this building without a permit, I'll just go in. If I need to talk to some random ass person and see how it unfolds, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, and it's you get that. And those are some of the more interesting conversations that occur. Like the one where, so... Mind you, like he walks in and he's got the clippers and the guy goes like, why do you have those? It's just like, I don't know. I don't need them. I carry them around.
And then he says, oh, I use them to cut holes in my jeans.
Yes. And he's got these, his jeans are ripped. And
they're like that in the show too.
Yeah. And which I didn't pick up on until I looked at that and I go, oh, for sure. Those things are gnarly. The chick at the very end when he's trying to plug something in and she's kind of like, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. And I was like, it's like, oh, do you speak, where are you from? Are you a tourist? And it's like, I was like, that feels totally genuine. That doesn't feel like an actor. Mm-hmm. And then, but some of the other conversations that are happening with the public, like the one guy who's walking out, it sounds drunk talking to him. And I forgot who's Jay McCarroll is.
Oh yeah.
Like I kind of think that guy may have been an actor, but I don't know.
It's funny that you say that because the way they've been doing this show specifically in this city, they go out so much and do so many shenanigans, and they're kind of Toronto famous a little bit.
Okay.
So like people sometimes will recognize them and just like say their names. And it kind of adds to like the kind of uncanny element that they're going for.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things that Matt Johnson was talking about was my biggest goal with making a show like this or making this thing in general is to make the audience question what's real and what's fake.
Oh,
and
good on him.
I think he's absolutely met that goal in large part because of like the public interactions and like just the shit that they do. When I first saw this in theaters and they like jumped off the CN Tower for like a good few seconds, I thought to myself, did they actually fucking jump from the CN Tower?
Yeah, I did the same thing.
And, I read later that like, oh, they did everything up until they like jump off the tower and then they like recreated it on like a stage or whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But he talked about like how
the fucking dome's closing. We gotta go.
Dude, it's so funny how like they get up there, they've got their like fucking hunchbacks because the parachutes are in their suits.
Yeah, it's funny to look at them both thinking it's a good idea.
Yeah. And the tour guide who has his own footage from this GoPro is like walking along, like looking around. I read that they just genuinely got that footage.
Yeah.
And that he was accidentally getting like all the right angles that they wanted him to. Like all the different perspectives.
I won't argue with it, but
and I you know, that just makes it like really, it's one of those movies where like you watch the movie and you go, how the fuck did they do this shit? And then you read about it. And it's like some of the stuff that I'm reading about is like pretty much as interesting as the film itself. And I don't know. I have a lot of fun with discerning like what here was planned, what here wasn't, and like how much did they kind of like have to cobble together a story around the events that take place.
Well, not only like the practical effects and like, you know, there's a point where they're on the CN tower and they got to drop some rope and then they got to get an extension cord and they're walking around the city and you kind of see the, you know, it's running up and it's like, it's just so well made in terms of like the effects, you know, there isn't anything that really pops out in here as being like CGI, you know, or like doesn't fit like that, like the jumping off the CN tower, the some of the crashes with the RV and stuff.
And I think the junky nature of kind of how this is filmed only helps with that.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot easier to fake stuff when you've got this idea of a mockumentary shaking the camera around. It's not like it's kind of an askew vision of what's going on.
Yeah.
So like when something crazy does happen, it's easier to kind of cheat and get away with a lot of the things that are just a little more outside the realms of reality.
For sure, but this is so well made. Like normally with the POV stuff, it's like jump cuts, you know, we see it with a lot of horror films. But even with some of the stuff that they're trying to do like a mockumentary on, a lot of jump cuts, a lot of like shaky camera movement. Like this is never was nauseous watching this and almost was like there are times you kind of get soaked out where you think there's a camera operator there, only for Matt Johnson to highlight the camera team that's with him.
Yeah.
You know, like, and really being like, hey, like, we're going to make this totally like existential, or like you're going to be reminded that there are people with cameras. We're going to show you the different angles of people around us, you know, like
one of the things that was to me the most impressive was the interactions they had with their old selves and how
the editing with that.
The editing
that's
is
what I was going to
fucking fantastic, dude. And you know, there's a perfect world. There's a perfect future that we could live in where this movie gets nominated for an Oscar for best editing and wins it.
Yeah.
Because it's like one of the most incredible feats of editing I think I've seen in a movie.
Oh, it's so well done. And to get I'd have to watch it again, but to make that apartment look the same as it did in 2008.
And to have it so that the interactions between their old selves and them feels cohesive enough to be believable.
I was so this thing starts out 2008 and I've seen the poster for this and Matt Johnson looks a little heavier, you know, and
by the way, he's kind of secretly ripped. He's one of those guys where because he's got that fucking suit coat on the whole time, you think he's like a little bit stockier.
Okay.
And then like you see him without a shirt and it's like, oh, you're like sneaky buff. There's like a weird kind of like build to you.
Sure.
That's a little deceptive.
Well,
anyway.
Yeah, I don't. Good job defending him. Said no offense. I think we didn't need to go into like seeing him shirtless.
You said no offense, and I ran to take a bullet for you.
So you know, like and this thing starts out, and I'm like, God, he looks kind of young. I was like, that's not CGI. Like, how do they do that? Is that AI? There's no way he's got AI in here. And then they smash cut, and then he's, you know, him. And I'm like, I don't know what I just watched. You know, I was like, oh, that must be part of the show. And no idea that they're coming back. And then all of a sudden you're watching it and you're like, this is really good. This is like impressive to the point where this doesn't feel like snip, slice, splice, whatever you want to say, right? Like,
yeah, this doesn't feel like a cheap kind of YouTube video or even like you see like high production, high budget movies where you've got like past versions of characters interacting with like present versions of them. And it's like, okay, there's like some decent like effects going on, but I can still tell there's like a weird kind of gumminess to the way the younger version looks.
Yeah.
Or like the makeup on the older version is so kind of jarring and different that it's like there's something taking me out of this.
I think it's way easier to go young to old than old to young.
Yeah.
Because like you can get prosthetics and stuff to get wrinkles and put a little...
Which looks a lot better and like you can at least appreciate the craft of.
Yeah.
And then if you're, I mean, taking it back to Marvel a little bit, when you're watching Civil War and like Baby Downey Jr.'s face is on screen,
right?
It's like, this makes me feel weird.
Yeah.
In a way that I don't think is intentional. Whereas this, it's like, oh, this is like so smartly, it's just like, it comes down to the editing. This is so smartly edited and like the sets and like the blocking and everything is so good that it's, you don't even think about it. You're just like, you're just in awe of the moment. And like, you're remembering the flashback scenes of when he's like jumping on the couch and his old version's like sleeping below him. And it's like, oh shit. It's really, my favorite part of the movie in terms of the, like just technical qualities, I would say.
Yeah, that, and I think I definitely have a new appreciation for flashbacks now.
Oh, it's like that in the whole show.
Oh, really? The flashbacks? Mm-hmm. Every time they do a flashback, like, so the first time they do it, I was kind of giggling.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that's funny. Like just being in slow motion, kind of like really pacing the moment, you know? And then all of a sudden they do it for every time. And it's almost like, sometimes it's almost like innocuous. Like, it's like really didn't need to flash that back.
Yeah, sometimes they like slightly adjust something.
Yeah. And yeah, so anyways, I was, every time they do a flashback, I would just like giggle because I'm always a sucker for slow motion talking.
It's my favorite part of the show when it goes into that thing of it's a flashback, but it's so much more distilled and mean than it was in the reality that we saw it in.
Yeah, he goes, maybe I spilled some wine or killed someone. You know, and then they goes, or maybe I spilled some wine or killed someone.
No, in that scene, he doesn't even say killed someone.
So that's what I was,
Yeah.
Right? Like, so he just goes spill some wine on my pants. And then so I was like, all right. And then in the flashback, they do that. And I was like, did he say that? Because it's fun. It's kind of funny that he just completely goes, or killed someone. Like, that's what Matt Johnson's remembering him saying. Mm-hmm. Like, how do you jump from spilled the wine to kill a guy?
I think it's the third episode of season 1 that has a flashback scene. I think is maybe one of my favorite parts of the whole show.
Oh, okay.
And it's like elongated and it has a very kind of like distinct part in it.
Yeah.
And I think it's fantastic.
Okay.
So keep an eye out for that.
Well, I might be like, I might just throw it on tonight because I got football stuff that I got to do after this, and I throw on shows, you know. So that at one point I might make it because this isn't like slap your knee funny, you know, or like The Hangover makes an appearance where it's like, oh, he called him a faggot, you know, like it's this really like subtle humor that kills you. And like you got these two idiots, like Pinky and the Brain, like totally right. One can't operate without the other, right? You got the left side of the brain with the right, like Matt Johnson with his confidence. So he's just like, we're gonna do this, but has no idea about what's going on. And then Jay, who's probably a little bit more on the grounded side to help like reel him in a little bit.
But he's still himself very guileless and like doesn't have a clue.
So he's a world famous musician, got exactly what he wanted and doesn't know how to be the guy. Like they walk into the RV and he goes, I call this room. And everyone's like, yeah, you're the billionaire.
Hey, we think we can hook up the 64 on this bad boy. Yeah, I could maybe play some.
I don't know if it has the stuff, but yeah, maybe.
My biggest laugh, especially the first time I saw it, was you get the scene earlier where Matt's kind of like, you know, having some japes with Jay. Mm-hmm. He's poking some fun at it, and Jay's like kind of in a depressive state. You know, coming out of the rain, he's all wet, he's all soppy, he's all sad, and Matt shoots him with the like pellet gun. Yeah, he's like, oh, Jay's favorite game. Pew, 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 pew. Like shoots him with a toy gun in the RV when he sees the gun.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, no one told me we had this bad boy. Fucking blows the guy away.
Oh my God. So he, you know, the Chekhov gun, right? So I was totally like, oh, I wonder how they incorporate this thing, which I love because it's almost like a red herring, right? Like they always do the, you know, if it pops up, it's going to get used sometime. Not to think like,
Well, it's so brilliant in that like they throw so much stuff at you that you almost just kind of like forget about it as just this innocuous thing.
Yeah.
And when it comes back, it's like, oh shit,
yes.
this is gonna have something. And I kind of saw it coming when I first saw it a little bit.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, this scene is way too kind of quiet for this much to not have a build up.
Right.
And then it happens and I fucking lost it in the theater. I was dying.
Dark humor Mac was like, oh damn.
I watched this with Megan. Megan hadn't seen it before, and she watched it for the first time yesterday. And when it got to that scene, she did the whole poggers like, like completely jaw dropped. It was fucking great.
Yeah, they are. It's good. And then the only thing I didn't get was like, did Jay kill other Jay in that timeline, or was he just not home? Because
well, at the end of the movie, when he's initially intending to go back 2 days before, so he can like stop the murder, so that he can still be famous.
No. Yes, the initial time when he makes it there, when Matt Johnson gets knocked out.
Yeah.
And then Jay took off, and then he goes, oh my God, I'm famous in this timeline. And he goes, hi, I think this is my home.
I think the idea is when they got back to their present that they kind of like canceled out if there was like another version of them there.
Yeah.
Because like his agent keeps saying, oh, we found him. Like it's almost like he disappeared out of thin air probably.
Oh, okay.
And then that version of him becomes the version of Jay that we know.
That makes sense. Well, maybe not though, because
I mean, it doesn't really make a ton of sense.
They go to the first timeline and they're both there and they talk to themselves.
Yeah. Time travel.
Whatever. Time travel.
Listen,
everyone.
we can't all be Primer, all right?
Yeah.
Shane Carruth didn't have any sort of punch-ups on this as far as I'm concerned.
It's the second time that got mentioned today.
Shane Carruth?
No, Primer.
Oh.
And Shane Carruth.
What was the context for talking about Primer?
Coworker, she's watching the...
Kind of fun when a coworker brings up Primer.
Well, they didn't. I did. But they were going through they're watching the Marvel movies again. Kind of... so we were talking a little bit about the theory with Doomsday, and not to make this like Marvel talk, but like Loki started talking. I was like, I watched both seasons of Loki. I go, it's just a little confusing. So I don't know if it was clean or like... And then I said, if you like time travel, she goes, have you seen Looper? Have you watched? I go, of course I've seen Looper. Well, there's a special assistant on Looper because Shane Carruth he helped punch up the script.
Well, he looked at the script and wrote, the time travel is wrong, and sent it back to Rian Johnson.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, he came and was a special advisor on it.
A consultant, yeah.
Yeah, right? Oh, sorry.
Not to get pedantic.
Yeah, and so I was talking about that, and I said, if you really like that, because I said this consultant, he directed his own movie called Primer. I said, if you ever want to feel like an idiot, watch that movie.
I mean, truly,
like,
it is one of the movies that I enjoyed the most while feeling the dumbest I think I felt watching a movie.
Yeah, I don't know if we've ever talked. Did I tell you to watch? Like, was that like
we talked about Primer a little bit before the podcast? It was like when we were going to restaurants regularly. Still.
Yeah,
our own version of like offline podcast, aka talking to each other.
Yeah.
Where I think we went to a Mexican restaurant and I brought up Primer and how I pretty much, I think, said the exact same thing that I just did, where it made me feel stupid, but I enjoyed every minute of it.
Yeah.
I would like to talk about that movie on here, I think, one day.
I think I'd be man enough now to watch it again.
Yeah.
I told her, I said I saw it with
I'm brave enough to check out Primer.
Dude, I said I watched it with some college friends. I said we watched it in complete silence. The movie ended and we all went outside and stared at the stars for 20 minutes in complete silence. All of us going through our own, like, what was that? Mm-hmm. What did I just witness? And, I'm like, it's the first time I've had, like, maybe existential dread.
I remember I watched it with Gideon, and he showed it to me for the first time. And, like, the next day, he threw on this explanation video that, like, charts out the different things happening in Primer. And I watched it, and maybe, like, 20 minutes after I watched it, I was like, okay, I kind of understand it a little bit. And then after that, it was like, I think I'm more confused than I was before.
It's it would be like overlapping tree branches of a 100-year-old rooted tree, right? Mm-hmm. like one of those redwoods that just got a million branches. Just like, but that's like kind of how Loki and the timeline stuff works with the Marvel stuff. They just don't go too crazy with it.
Yeah.
But the Loki stuff, like they try to explain, if it goes this way, this is what you get, and it's just so sometimes hard to fathom. Like, all right, like how many different branches of the main line are we getting?
Well, some of the better. At least in people's perception, some of the better kind of like time travel stories are ones in which there's a lot of complicated divergence and branches going on. Mm-hmm. So like stuff like Dark or Primer are like touted as like, oh, these are the kind of time travel stories that actually manage to like get it close to what it would be.
Yeah.
And you take something like this, which is paying large homage to Back to the Future, great Robert Zemeckis movie.
Yep.
Where there's like a simplicity to the time travel, but because there's a simplicity to it, you almost are forced to ask certain questions about it.
Right.
That kind of, you can like pick it apart if you want to. I'm not really concerned with that because I'm
it's
along.
It's a plot device.
It's a plot device, and I'm along for the ride. I'm along for the ride of the experience of what this movie's given me, and what it's given me is some hearty chuckles.
Yes.
And some moments that will stick with me for a while. I love the way that they incorporated the Drake mansion shooting into filming this thing.
Oh, that's Drake's mansion.
So that they were in the neighborhood when, or they must have just been around the general area when the shooting happened, and so because Drake is Canadian, and so
hold on, shooting as in film. Not shooting.
No, like shooting as in gun.
There was a Drake shot someone.
So Drake himself didn't shoot anyone, but it was when the Kendrick and Drake beef was happening.
Yes,
and someone pulled up to Drake's manor and like shot like one of the guards or something. I don't think they died, but like they did a news story on it, and Matt Johnson and his crew were around when it was happening, and they went there. And the like kind of news footage that you see,
that's real.
That's like real news footage that they kind of like retrofitted to make it about Jay. Wow. And when you see Jay sneaking away, that's like a real press conference from the police about the shooting.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
No way. Oh my God, because that looks so staged.
I know.
But that makes sense. Like that's kind of how it would look. Like
yeah.
Because normally it's you buttoned up, cleaned up. Like I was like this looks so like schlocky. It's schlocky, but again, like I said, it's in line with everything else authentic.
The movie's doing.
That's what I'm saying. It's authentic. Like it gives me more appreciation for it because, like I said, and if that's Matt Johnson's credit is not knowing what's real versus what's fake, props to you, sir, because I was confused throughout this whole film on are these people acting or are they totally amateurism? Like just catching them in a candid camera.
I certainly think we need to talk about Matt Johnson and Jay McCarroll as like comedic performers. I think it's for people who don't have any like sort of like formal acting training. I think it's very impressive the way that they manage to like keep the energy of the scenes going.
He is just
Matt Johnson is especially, yeah.
He's so frenetic and like.
He almost tires me out when I see him. Dude,
like the way that his mind operates and like there's a simplicity behind how stupid the ideas are, but the balls to just be like, we're going to go and do it and not have like any recourse, like it's just, but everything he's in, he feels like that. Like his mind's just constantly going and it's almost like, like in Frank, I could make, 15 songs off this one noise, right? Like he's
Gideon references that a lot, by the way.
Does he?
Yes.
I'm so happy because when he first saw that thing, he broke my heart.
Hey, it stuck with him.
It did. Well, I'm happy about that one because that's one of the better lines in the film.
Figured you'd enjoy hearing that.
Yes. But that's what Matt Johnson, he's like, he looks at the CN Tower and he's like, I could come up with 20 ways that we could fucking like get ourselves in the Rivoli from this. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, we're going. And then this is the whiteboard and then we're going to, we're only writing 4 or 5 things on here. But how do we get from here to here to here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great stuff. He's kind of playing like the same character in The Dirties a little bit. Just like a little more menacing and unhinged in The Dirties.
That's kind of what I That's kind of what I thought, because I like I said, I think he's like that in everything. Because Project Avalanche, he's like that. He's he's just the unhinged. I can't remember if they're like watching from afar, or if he was actually in the building.
Yeah.
You know, like I can't quite remember that, but he's like doing the same thing. Like you got like Kubrick, you know, and Blackberry, he's kind of the same sort of guy. He's a little bit just more nerdy, but still like unhinged, kind of very authentic. And
he's very frantic in Blackberry, if I remember right. It's been a minute since I've seen that movie, and his performance wasn't necessarily the one that stood out to me the most.
It wasn't frantic. He was like, hey, like we got this cool idea. We're gonna go, and he's gonna explain it to you in 100 miles an hour, and he's gonna believe in every word he's saying. Mm-hmm. You know, like,
I just remember he had a headband on the whole time in that movie.
Yeah, and he liked
it was kind of killing it.
Yeah, they had like Footloose Friday or something where they listened to classic rock, and and then corporate came in and killed it.
He's got a new movie coming out. I thought it was coming out the same weekend that we were going to release our last episode, but I don't think it's coming out until this week. Are you looking forward to seeing Tony, the Anthony Bourdain biopic, directed by our boy Matt Johnson?
So I saw the trailer for whenever I went to one of these movies that we saw in theaters, maybe The Odyssey.
Yeah.
Had no idea. And then, at the end, it kind of gives it away that it's about Anthony Bourdain. I don't know how interested I am in his life, but I am interested in Anthony Bourdain because he had the TV show, and you just didn't realize he was that much of a
character.
His whole thing, right? He was very passionate about what he did, and I think he was very woke person, right? Like cared very much about the world and how food brings us together. That isn't something that necessarily interests me. Yeah, but I do get interested behind people being passionate about something that interests them.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much I'm like, I got to go see this movie, but it's got her boy in it.
I think that I'm more so in it for Matt Johnson than I am like the actual subject matter.
But he's not like, if he's not him behind the wheel, I don't know how much I'm like.
Well, it's more just like a curio for me. Just like, how do you do with like something? Because even Blackberry, a movie that is a real movie, that has like a story and characters in it, is like so it's still kind of leaning into like the humor that he likes to gravitate towards. And Tony, I mean, obviously it's going to have humor in it because it's got fucking Stavros Halkias in it.
Yes,
but I'm curious how he handles something that feels more conventional.
The subject matter.
Yeah.
Right. Where, I mean, you could say Blackberry is kind of the same way, but
sorta, and that's kind of why I brought it up. But still, Blackberry had the benefit of being more a comedy.
Yes.
Than what Tony looks like it's going to be, which is like, a dramedy character study biopic.
Yes. Yeah, and that'll be interesting because I do think though Anthony Bourdain was probably like very witty. So I'm sure that
I myself am not too familiar with a lot of his stuff. Yeah, admittedly. Yeah.
I guess he probably killed himself when you were in high school, maybe early college.
Yeah.
Because I think it was 2018.
I would have just graduated from college if it was 2018.
Yeah, but like I said, his stuff, like my uncle is the president at the National Aquarium. My mom's sister's, his wife.
Yeah.
She loved Anthony Bourdain.
Okay.
And so she would, when he passed, it was traumatic to her, It was
devastating for a lot of people.
And he had a show on the Food Network, and he kind of would travel to all these weird places and find these very hole-in-the-wall restaurants, I think, and would just dive into the food. And he would meet the people and kind of discover some of the culture, and he would tie in the food with the history to the people and kind of how everyone operates. And he had a book out, and I think he was very iconic. you know, and he was a personality, but he was very much like it would feel like someone that would drink some red wine, you know, and have very much like books or jokes referenced through books or something that's kind of highbrow.
Just like generally well-read, interesting person who seems to have lived a very full life.
Yes.
Even at that point.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if I'm there with sense of humor or necessarily with the intrigue, but once again, when it happened, it fascinated me to the point I just read up on him a little bit to kind of hear about, because I was like, you know, I never gave this guy this credit. He was always just the food guy. Mm-hmm. But when he said, you know, like food brings people together, I was like, I can get behind that. Like if that's a commonality that people can share that helps break, you know, the hate, like for sure.
So when we talk about Tony on this podcast, we are going to be eating the whole time in honor of Anthony Bourdain.
I'm trying to think, like, what's like a good pasta that you just eat? What was I'll think of it.
We just get like Olive Garden Alfredo or some shit like that.
There's a movie where I'm trying to think of guys talking while he's eating
fucking
pasta.
Bullshit, yeah.
Some heavy ass meal and just like keep going on. Yeah, some Olive Garden. Yeah, he would have loved that.
Oh yeah, this is in honor of you, Tony. Yeah. We're thinking of you.
So that's Matt Johnson directing Tony. I do have Curiosity. So, but
me too.
I don't know about enough to. Well, unless it gets recommended, to sit through it in the theater.
I'll see it and I'll let you know how it is.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be bad.
Right.
I really don't. I think it's probably gonna be all right. It's some of those movies, like the theater going experience for me nowadays too, especially with my time.
That's understandable.
Yeah, I get really into like I either want to be excited for it or know that I'm going on a ride.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, also, like, you got to consider not only just time, but if you're going to be bringing others with you and assuming that you'll be paying for those others, that adds up to costs. You always reference Moonfall and the $37 that it costs to have that great Roland Emmerich experience. And
the next one was the fucking Minions. That really almost gave me an aneurysm.
Oh, recency bias. There's just a lot of factors that are totally understandable as to why it's a little bit harder for you to justify going to the theater.
Yeah, it's funny because people, not to be like woe was me, but there is a strategy that I have to implement when doing this.
Yeah,
it's not just like, oh, I get to go, So that's why I'm always careful with it too, because there's other times where I'm going away that I'm not watching movies that I'm not home. So, but anyways, I don't. And this is like one of those things where it's like, it might look good on the big screen, but I could probably watch it at home and get the same experience from it. Mm-hmm. So
yeah. Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie.
Yeah.
Anything else we wanted to talk about with that? It's a kind of a hard movie to discuss, I feel like, because other than like some of the craft of which we already talked about and like kind of just like general things that we enjoyed about it.
Yes.
There's not really much else to dig into without just telling people, just go watch it. Just go watch it and experience it.
Like it's a POV movie, so either we're telling you exactly what happens or we're quoting the thing. So I think this would be a great movie. I think people need to check this out.
I will say also, check out the TV show. They're both on Hulu right now. I have not watched the web series. That's the only thing I haven't seen, and from what I've heard, it's not like an essential viewing. Kind of just like more of a curiosity of like, oh, you can like see where they got started, and just kind of like the novelty of that. But that's pretty much my knowledge of that as far as that goes. Shall we get into ratings?
Yes.
Let's do it. So this is, for me, I'm kind of including my experience with the TV show.
You're just giving a whole package.
I'm giving the whole package.
Yeah.
So like season 1, season 2, and movie. For me, this is a very strong 9 out of 10.
Wow.
I think that this is very funny, engaging. It's interesting. It's interesting to read about. It's interesting to kind of like learn the process. And also, what I learned from rewatching season 1 specifically, a lot of rewatch value.
Yeah.
I think that this film, seeing it a second time, you will catch a lot more that you didn't catch before. Mm-hmm. And you have a newer appreciation for like all the different little things that they're doing.
Yes.
And like how they manage to string something along that turns out to be cohesive and interesting enough to make a story out of like random encounters, people on the street, like hidden camera antics and them sneaking into places. I think there's very few things that are like this. Like I said, the only kind of comparison I can make is Nathan Fielder.
Yes.
I don't know if you see Nathan For You.
I know the premise. I've actually one of his shows actually led to reform in the airlines.
Oh, the rehearsal.
Yeah.
When he talked about Sullenberger.
I haven't seen the show, listened to a podcast on it, but yeah, apparently like
I watched that episode and it's very good.
They made a point, right? Like it's a real thing. Like he
learned how to become a pilot to do that episode basically.
Yeah. Well, and I'm saying like they discovered something that reformed the industry. Like that's bizarre to me.
It's bizarre. It's fascinating. It's really like one of the few comparisons I can make to this. And even then, Nathan Fielder feels more like it is more about like his subjects than it is him.
Agreed.
Although he oftentimes includes himself in the buffoonery. Whereas Matt and Jay, what I really appreciate about what they do is that 9 times out of 10, the joke is on them.
Yes.
And they are like the butts of their own jokes, their own setups. They're out to make themselves look like fools and kind of take that as a challenge, both narratively and emotionally, as people of like, we're just going to go in and deal with this and see how it unfolds.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate the uniqueness of this thing. So for me, 9 out of 10.
Nice. Yeah, I'll probably watch this again. I'll probably check out the show.
Do you think you'll show Jasmine? Do you think she would like this?
No, it's not her style of comedy.
Yeah.
Now this isn't one of those things where I'm rubbing her the wrong way on it and like, hey, check this out. I just don't think she'd be engaged with it. Now, if I explained it with like, hey, there's like this amateurism sense and we're pulling people off the streets and it's kind of POV and hidden camera and it's a little candid, you know, it might get a little bit more out of her. But I don't have like, this isn't Enter the Void. So I don't have an issue like going like, hey, check this out. Right. You know, like I think this is a very easy thing to get behind and watch. And if you told someone to watch this and they were like didn't have a good time, they're not coming back at you pissed.
Yeah.
I think they would go as far as like, yeah, no, it was good. It was well shot. I just, I didn't think it was funny. And it's like, okay, like complete waste of time. And I'm sure they'd be like, no, not really. It's just like kind of like one of those, I've seen it. It's gone, solid, 3-star banger or whatever. Like, I don't think anyone's going like, it's a fucking 3. I hate you. I'm never getting back that 100 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is a prop to them because like if you can hit the baseline with people just being generally like, yeah, not bad. That's good. But I am intrigued by it. You giving me a little bit more insight into it, kind of like Hundreds of Beavers, where I didn't really know the whole story behind it, and you start learning more and more, and it becomes that much more impressive. This is good. I was laughing a lot. This is an 8 out of 10 for me.
Okay.
With, I would say probably more of a potential to become like I might go home and just throw it back on and have it on again. Like that for some reason, there's something out there that's just like, hey, you could easily have this on and watch it. Just have it on in the background and find something new.
I would say my suggestion is check out the show, give it like a little bit of time, and then rewatch the movie.
Yeah.
And then I think it'll go down super smooth.
Yeah. I guess we'll see. I'll know where it stands if like a week or two from now, I'm like, I'm going to throw that on.
Yeah. Text me if you check it out.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that was our discussion on Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. I get to make a recommendation. What is with my throat this recording?
Yeah, that's interesting.
I'm just making like weird ass noises. Yeah, just Uncle Ben noises is the perfect term for it. Probably just like my voice giving out as I'm continuing to talk this whole time. I have a recommendation.
Okay.
Let me pull up some info on this. So Mac, I think it's that time. We've been talking about too many good things.
No.
Too much of a good thing.
Enter the Void wasn't a good thing.
Enter the Void was...
I mean, it was a good movie.
It was a good movie. Maybe
talk about
maybe the subject matter isn't necessarily like the most uplifting thing, but
yes.
I'm just speaking in terms of quality.
Okay.
There's a we got what is this, like Spider-Man making all this money? We got the craft of the Odyssey. We got the innovation of Nirvana.
Yeah.
Got all this good stuff. Too much candy on the plate.
Okay.
I think we gotta.
You're doing a Mark Wahlberg impersonation.
I think we just gotta reconcile with something.
Okay.
We gotta reconcile with this idea that I'm Mark Wahlberg, and I'm coming on this podcast as Mark Wahlberg, and I've got a movie to recommend. And
what year?
2014. It's not a movie that I'm in.
Damn.
I'm not recommending one of my own movies, even though I'm Mark Wahlberg. I could recommend Invincible. That's a piece of shit football movie.
Oh, maybe.
I'm recommending a guilty pleasure of your boy Kyle's.
Uh-oh.
This is a guilty pleasure movie, Mac.
Uh-oh.
Guilty pleasure recommendation from me, Mark Wahlberg.
Ghost Rider?
Not Ghost Rider. This is a Liam Neeson joint. Directed by Jean-Colette Serra.
Oh, fuck.
Takes place on an airplane. I've been on airplanes. I'm Mark Wahlberg. I was in that Mel Gibson airplane movie. I was bald.
Flight Plan?
That's the name of my movie. That's not the Liam Neeson movie. That's not the one I'm recommending. You got any guesses, Mac?
No.
What? No. You got to have some guesses.
Flight?
That's Denzel Washington.
Shit.
That was my co-star in 21 Guns. Guns and Money. You remember the trailer?
I don't know. Liam Neeson movie on a plane?
Liam Neeson movie on a plane.
This is a guilty pleasure of yours?
This is a guilty pleasure of Kyle's. He took a step out to go take a piss in his floor vent. I'm Mark Wahlberg.
Mark, I don't know.
Should I just give it to you, Mac?
Yeah.
All right. Kyle's recommendation for next episode is the film Non-Stop.
I have no Nope.
Hey, Mark, thank you for filling in for me real quick while I had to go take a piss in my floor vent. He recommended Nonstop, right?
Stop.
Okay, so he did recommend Nonstop. He at least did the one thing I asked him to. So you're unfamiliar with Nonstop.
Hold on. Let me pull up the...
I have the poster right here if you want to see it. Conveniently pulled up when I excused Mark Wahlberg from the recording chair.
Wow. This is I'm not going to say anything. No, this is a high rating on IMDb.
Mac, this is no joke a guilty pleasure movie of mine that
Scoot McNairy's in this.
It's good, dude. The cast, Julianne Moore, Scoot McNairy, Liam Neeson,
Lupita Nyong'o,
Corey Stoll, Lupita Nyong'o. I am so excited to talk to you about this movie.
I know that guy. Shane Wingham's in this.
I maybe watch this once a year, and every time I go to rewatch it, I think to myself, am I going to like this genuinely as a movie again? And then I finish the movie, and I'm like, nope, it did the same thing to me every single time. But I'm excited to talk to you about this film. This is Liam Neeson's Nonstop, directed by Jean-Colette Serra.
What is... Man, okay.
Dude, I cannot wait.
It's on Netflix.
Perfect.
Okay. This is a blind spot for me.
I'm surprised you haven't watched this before. This is sort of in the context of not just like a guilty pleasure for me, but also I'm just kind of fascinated with Liam Neeson's action career in general.
I know that he is in every high concept film ever made.
It's one of those things where like it was sort of the 2010s version of what can we have Arnold Schwarzenegger fight?
Yes.
In the 80s and 90s, and it's like,
what can we have Liam Neeson on?
What location or mode of transportation can we have Liam Neeson be a part of?
It's insane the amount of shit that he is like taking just out. Anyways, yeah. Okay, Nonstop. I think I've heard of this thing. I think I've seen it. This is like a true like. This feels like this went straight to Hulu or Netflix type made movie.
2014. This ostensibly came out in theaters.
Yeah,
I think I saw it on like Charter on Demand. Like, pull it up, watch it in that crisp 480p at the time.
You were like, "Wow, this is."
I'm like, "Whoa, there's things happening. That's crazy. I didn't know movies could do that."
Okay.
But no, I have more thoughts outside of that as a bubble. So Nonstop and whatever else we decide to pair with it.
Okay,
that's coming out. We'll talk about that off air probably. So cool.
All right.
You feeling good about Liam Neeson? How did you feel about Mark Wahlberg coming in and
It was
taken over for a little bit.
Yeah, no, it was. He was very animated.
Was that the first time you met him?
If that's what you call it.
I mean, it was kind of the first time I met him. He just kind of like came in when I stepped out, and he was like, "Hey, I kind of want to do." This is me impersonating him. This isn't him coming back.
Not you.
Can I do like
it.
a quick five on the neon pod? I was like, "Sure." Mark Wahlberg, famous Hollywood movie star
in Michigan, right?
Michigan, just kind of like walking through my house.
It warms me that he listens to the pod. He's an avid fan.
I know. If only he could do like a little promotional stuff, maybe like kind of boost our numbers. He could get his entourage to come in, boost the numbers. Anyway,
we can ask him what's happening.
Hey, Mark, what's happening?
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah. This will be good. It looks like an easy film to take down.
I think it will be, and we're going to wrestle with it.
Yes.
We're going to wrestle with it like Joseph in the desert. Non-stop. If you guys don't want to be spoiled, be sure to check that film out before episode 126. McLean, what do we say as we web ourselves at the end of the episode? WWTHD. Bye, everybody. Mac, you fucking idiot. The Neon Crew podcast is hosted by Kyle Yates and McLean Parker. Kyle, who is myself, also helps to produce, edit, and upload every episode. Our music was composed by Gideon Hunter. Our artwork was created by Lauren Hunter. Thank you so much for listening to our show. Episodes get scheduled to release every 2 weeks. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Follow us on various social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and our YouTube community page for updates and information on upcoming episodes. Want to join the Neon Mafia? Head over to our shop page at etsy.com/shop/the Neon Crew Podcast for some quality, comfortable merch.